Hello students, welcome all of you. Today we will revise our history third chapter, the Delhi Sultan. In the earliest three videos we have completed this chapter and today we will revise the important topic of this chapter. So student, you know about the Delhi Sultan a lot, that the Rajput dynasty, the early Turkish ruler, the Khilji dynasty, Tughlaq dynasty, Sayyid dynasty and Lodi dynasty, and these dynasty also ruled over India. So today we will read about chieftains and their fortifications. Chieftains means these important people, and their leader at least means chieftains. They were the leader at that time, means Sardar. They were called Sardar, means chieftains, and their fortification means their area in which they were living, their society were protect in which area. So student, these chieftains means these Sardar and their durg, their killa, their fortification. So that Ibn Battuta was a 14th century traveler from Morocco, Africa. He explained that chieftains sometime. He also wrote something about these chieftains. So for these chieftains fortified themselves in mountains, in rocky, uneven and rugged place, as well as in bamboo groves. In India, the bamboo is not hollow. It is big, and its several parts are so intertwined that even fire cannot affect them. Means he writes, Ibn Battuta is writing that bamboo were very different from the area of Africa, and the people here were using them for making food and for making houses, and these bamboos were so intertwined that even fire cannot affect them, and they are on the whole very strong. The chieftain live in these forests, in these bamboo forests, which serve them as ramparts, inside which, as their cattle and their crops, there is also water for them within. So that is rainwater which collect there. Hence they cannot be subdued except by powerful army. Means they were safe here, but only a powerful army can defeat them. So when entering these forests, cut down the bamboo with special prepared instrument. So you can think that these chieftains and these their fortification were safe because of this bamboo forest, but sometimes they were also defeated by a strong army which cut down these bamboo and enter in their area. Student, the Mongols under Jahangir Khan invaded Transoxiana in northeast Iran in 2019, and the Delhi Sultan faced their onslaught soon after. Mongols' attack on the Delhi Sultan increased during the reign of Alauddin Khilji and in the early years of Muhammad Tughlaq's rule. Means in the rule of these two sultan, that is the Muhammad Tughlaq and Alauddin Khilji, the Mongol attacks increase. Means Mongols started attacking India in the rule of Alauddin Khilji and Muhammad Tughlaq. Okay, so student, Alauddin Khilji, you can understand that he was from the Khilji dynasty, and Muhammad bin Tughlaq was from the Tughlaq dynasty, and this time period was 1296 to 1388, and at that time the Mongol attack increased, and we will read about it. Let us see. And in this time, these forced the two rulers to mobilize a large standing army in Delhi, which posed a huge administrative challenge. Let us see how the two sultans dealt with this. Means we will see that how the Alauddin Khilji and Muhammad Tughlaq deals with the attack of Mongols. Okay, so first, Alauddin Khilji. Delhi was attacked twice in 1299 to 1300 and 1302 to 1303. As a defensive measure, Alauddin Khilji raised a large standing army. Okay, to defend his area, to defend his people, Alauddin Khilji raised a large standing army, and Alauddin Khilji constructed a new garrison town named Shiri for his shoulder. Garrison towns means in which town the soldiers lives. Okay, means place for the soldiers only. So he also make a new town. Alauddin constructed a new garrison town named Sidi. So, and the soldiers had to be fed, and this was done through the produce collect as taxes from lands between the Ganga and Yamuna. Tax was fixed at 50% of the peasants' yield. Okay, means Alauddin Khilji increased the tax. He was taking the tax of 50% of the peasant yields from the Ganga Yamuna, and the soldiers have to be paid. Alauddin chose to pay his soldiers' salaries in cash rather than iktas. And the soldiers would buy their supplies from merchants in Delhi, and it was thus referred that merchant would raise their price. To stop this, Alauddin controlled the price of goods in Delhi. Prices were carefully surveyed by officers, and the merchants who did not sell at the prescribed rate were punished. Means Alauddin Khilji was just giving some important benefits to his soldiers. Means he increased their salaries. He was pays soldiers salary in cash rather than iktas, and the soldiers could buy their supplies from merchant in Delhi. But he make a condition for the merchants that they cannot increase the price. Why? Because if they will increase the price, they will punished. Okay, so that Alauddin Khilji were not allowing merchants to increase the price, so that his soldier can easily buy the things of their needs. So Alauddin's administrative measures were quite successful, and chronicler praised his reason for its cheap price and efficient supplies of goods in the market. He successful withstood and threatened the Mongols' invasion. Okay, so that's why because Alauddin Khilji was taking care of his army, and he was giving lots of facilities to his armies. That's why his army, the number of his army was increasing. Okay, and he was successful to defeat the Mongols. Okay, so Alauddin Khilji was successful. But now we will read about Muhammad Tughlaq. Student, you can notice that Alauddin Khilji was not thinking about the common people. He was just thinking about to increase the army and to give facilities to the army. He was taking 50% taxes from the peasants, from the farmers. This is a very big amount. 50% tax means half of their earning he was taking for the army support. Okay, means he doesn't care that how common people were living, what their lifestyle, and how they are suffering. He doesn't care. He just want to defeat the Mongols in any cost, and it doesn't matter that how the citizens of the country and how the condition of the people at that time. Okay, now we will look at Muhammad Tughlaq. The Sultan was attacked in the early years of Muhammad Tughlaq region. Okay, शुरू में ही उन्होंने उन पे अटैक करना शुरू किया था, and the Mongols army was defeated. Muhammad Tughlaq was confident about the strength of his army and his resources to plan an attack to Transoxiana. He therefore raised a large standing army. Okay, so means Muhammad Tughlaq जो है उसने क्या किया? He attacked on Transoxiana instead of doing like Alauddin Khilji. He just attacked on Transoxiana to increase his earning. Rather than constructing a new garrison town, the old of the four cities of Delhi, Dilli-e-Kunha, was emptied of its resident, and the soldiers garrisoned there. The residents of the old city were sent to the new capital of Daulatabad in the south. Now what Muhammad bin Tughlaq did, rather than constructing a new garrison town, he didn't constructed a new garrison town. He just garrisoned the old Delhi, and oldest of the four cities of Delhi like Dilli Kunha was emptied. उन्हें खाली करवा दिया गया, और उनमें जो रेसिडेंट्स रहते थे उनको भेज दिया गया दौलताबाद in the south Delhi, or in the capital of Daulatabad in south. Okay, so Delhi को उसने अपना एरिया बना दिया, garrison area. Produce from the same area was collected as tax to feed the army, but to meet the expense of maintaining such a large number of soldiers, the Sultan levied additional taxes. Sultan levied additional taxes. This coincided with famine in the area. Means he also increased the taxes. Produce from the same area was collected that as taxes to feed the army, and but to meet expense of maintaining such a large number of soldiers, the Sultan levied additional taxes. उसने कुछ और additional taxes भी लगा दिए to coincide with famine in the area. Okay. And the Muhammad Tughlaq also paid his soldiers cash salaries, but instead of controlling price, he used a token currency somewhat like present-day paper currency, but made out of cheap metal, not gold and silver. And people in the 14th century didn't trust these coins. They were very smart. They saved their gold and silver coins and paid all their taxes to the state with this token currency. This cheap currency could also be counterfeited easily. Okay, means means Muhammad Tughlaq introduced a cheap currency, cheap metal currency, and he was giving a salary to his army as these cheap metal currency, and but the merchants of at that time were very smart, and they were not saving these coins. Okay, they were just saving their gold and silver coins, and they paid all their taxes into state in token currency, and these cheap currency could also be counterfeited easily. And Muhammad Tughlaq administrative measures were a failure. His campaign into Kashmir was a disaster. He then gave up his plan to invade Transoxiana and disbanded his large army. Meanwhile, his administrative measures created complications. The shifting of people of Daulatabad were resented. The raising of taxes and famine in the Ganga-Yamuna belt led to widespread rebellion, and finally the token currency had to be recalled. Okay, तो means उसकी token currency का idea भी fail हो गया था. And in this list of Muhammad Tughlaq failure, we sometimes forget that for the first time in the history of the Sultan, a Delhi Sultan planned a campaign to capture Mongol territory. Unlike Alauddin defensive measure, Muhammad Tughlaq measures were conceived as a part of military offensive against the Mongols. Okay, so student, we will revise some important points of this chapter. So students, the Delhi Sultan is a noble example for the glory of medieval India. Its cultural, art and architecture, this exists even today, is praiseworthy. The Sultan of Delhi ruled for quite a long period of 320 years, during which there were achievements in different fields. Okay, so Empire of Muhammad Ghazni, present day Afghanistan. This was the, here you can see in this red circle, this is the Empire of Muhammad Ghazni. Student, we have also read that these slave dynasty, the Kutubuddin Aibak, Aram Shah Kutubuddin, Iltutmish, Ruknuddin Firozshah, their time period, this is given in your book table 1. Okay, so Kutubuddin Aibak built some important things in Delhi, like Qutub Minar, and he started building Qutub Minar. Okay, and then some other the other king after him, they also started making the minar on it. The Khilji dynasty is also very important point of this chapter. Jalaluddin Khilji established Khilji dynasty, you know that, and the founder of Turkish dynasty Jalaluddin Khilji was 70 when he ascended the throne, and he defeated the descendant of Balban, being victorious came to power. He was kind-hearted, mild and trusting in nature, and the most important event during the reign of Jalaluddin was attack of the Yadav city of Davagiri. Alauddin Khilji, the new emperor of Delhi, Alauddin Khilji murdered his uncle Jalaluddin Firoz to gain the throne, and it was his ambition to establish a vast empire. He introduced more controversial policies. All religious land were confiscated, and marriages between noble families were sanctioned by the king. The empire also introduced market and price control, for food grains, clothes, and other essentials. The land revenue was raised and made more efficient, thus, the emperor enforced the highly centralized system of government. Here you can see the picture of Alauddin Khilji also. The Tughlaq dynasty. Ghazi Malik ascended the throne as Sultan Ghayasuddin Tughlaq Shah and founded the third dynasty of the Sultan. The Tughlaq belonged to the Qurana Turk tribe. Muhammad Tughlaq. Along the Tughlaq dynasty, Muhammad Tughlaq and Firoz Tughlaq sent out, and Muhammad Tughlaq has been grossly misunderstood and is assessed on account of his 5 ambitious projects. Student, take a look to this important point also. You have to recognize the name of this person by these two symbols. Okay, by these two, I will give you 2 guesses. So I faced opposition from the group of 40, and I am the only lady monarch in the Delhi Sultan. Who am I? So student, the only lady monarch in Delhi Sultanate was Razia Sultan. My real name is Firoz Shah and I am founder of the Khilji dynasty. Who am I? So who is the founder of Khilji dynasty? He is Jalaluddin Khilji. He gave a detailed and authentic narrative about a reign of Tughlaq dynasty, and he was an Indian historian who spent 17 years in the court of Muhammad bin Tughlaq. Who is he? He is Ziauddin Baran. I assumed the title of Shamsuddin, son of religion, and I was the son of Kutubuddin Aibak. Who I am? He is Ultutmish. What is the title given to Kutubuddin Aibak? The meaning of its giver of lakhs. What is it? Lakh Baksh. So these were some important point of this chapter. Student, if we will take a look at table 1 again, you will notice that after the Tughlaqs, the Sayyid and Lodi dynasty ruled from Delhi and Agra until 1526. By then, Zoonpur, Bengal, Malwa, Gujarat, Rajasthan and the entire South India had independent ruler and who established flourishing state by prosperous capital. This was also the period which saw the emergence of new ruling groups like the Afghans and the Rajputs. Some of the states established in the period were small but powerful and extremely well administered. Sher Shah Suri 1540 to 1545 started his career as the manager of the small territory of his uncle in Bihar and eventually challenged and defeated the Mongol Emperor Humayun 1530 to 1540. Sher Shah captured Delhi and established his own dynasty, also the Sur dynasty. Ruled over only 15 years, and it introduced an administration that borrowed elements from Alauddin Khilji and made them more efficient. Sher Shah administration became the model followed by the great Emperor Akbar when he consolidated the Mughal Emperor. This one another important point, that the 3 order, the peace of God, knights and curses. The idea of the 3 order was first formulated in France in the earliest 11th century. It divided society into 3 classes: those who prayed, those who fought, and those who tilled the land. This division of society into 3 orders was supported by the church and consolidated its dominant role in society. This helped the emergence of new warriors group called knights. The church patrons this group and used them to propagate their idea of peace of God. The attempt was to direct warriors away from conflict among themselves and send them instead on a campaign against the Muslims who had captured the city of Jerusalem. This led to a series of campaigns called the Crusade, and these campaigns in the service of God and church completely altered the statue of knights. Originally, these knights didn't belong to the class of nobles, but by the end of 11th century in France and a century later in Germany, and humble origin of these warriors were forgotten by the 12th century noble who wanted to be known as knight. So student, these were the some important point of this chapter. Okay, so if you will recall, so this question you have to do in your notebook. Which ruler first established his or her capital at Delhi? What was the language of administration under the Delhi Sultan? In whose region did the Sultan reach its furthest extent? And from which country did Ibn Battuta travel to India? Okay.